Sangita Patel was on a roll. She just finished filming her first American TV project, a reality show called Love and Translation. After years of covering red carpets and conducting countless celebrity interviews as co-host of Entertainment Tonight Canada, Hollywood had come calling for her. Then came this Instagram post to her followers.
2 months ago, I noticed a little lump on my throat. Didn't think much of it. Maybe that was an infection. I don't know. And then I guess it was a month after we realized my lump was much bigger exponentially. So I went to go see my doctor, got an ultrasound, and we figured out that it was a nodule and has been recommended that I get a biopsy on it to find out what's going on with it. I'm scared of needles, and it's hitting me right now what we're doing and why we're doing a biopsy, but I'm going to be fine.
Except it wasn't fine. The bump kept growing. It turned out to be cancerous and had to be removed. Excised is the medical term. So here she was on the verge of her big break, having to suddenly step down and face thyroid cancer and a throat surgery she feared could permanently alter her voice and leave her with a major scar, potentially limiting for a lifetime on TV. Then Sangita was presented with a groundbreaking solution and spread the word across her social media megaphone. This is Carry the Fire, a podcast by the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, featuring inspiring personal stories about what happens when world-leading doctors, nurses, researchers, and their patients come together to ignite breakthroughs in cancer diagnostics, research, and treatment. This is a podcast about innovation and radical hope. I'm your host, Lisa Laflamme. In this episode, entertainment journalist Sangita Patel, her experience battling a rare form of thyroid cancer and a new surgical procedure that became the biggest story of her life.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, beautiful lady. I'm so glad to see you. How are you?
Good.
You look
good.
so
You look
beautiful.
great. You do too.
Everything good?
Yeah.
Okay, we're all set?
Yeah, we're good.
So obviously I have followed your career and I've always been a fan of your energy and your style.
I'm such a fan sitting here with you right now. I just want to say thank you to you for everything you've done in my life and looking up to you. And, you know, we've kind of gone through a certain...
Okay. I know we're both fangirling here, but it was so great to meet Sangita. As someone who's also spent years on television, I wanted to know more about her life away from the camera. She started by telling me about growing up on the west side of Toronto, the daughter of Indian immigrants who told her to be practical, go to school, become an electrical engineer.
I wanted to be a writer. There was something about that. Whatever it was, I would stand in front of people and tell a story, or I would be writing, but my strength was math and science.
She stuck to math and science and became an engineer. Met a guy named Sam, got married, and had 2 beautiful daughters. But Sangita never stopped wanting to tell stories.
During the day, I would work as an engineer, and at nighttime, I was volunteering on Toronto Living, a Rogers Television volunteering show. Do you guys remember Toronto Living?
Of course I do.
Lifestyle show. So I had 2 different lives. I loved that I was able to do both, you know, make a career out of engineering and then work as something with my passion. And it was great.
It's good that you use the word passion because I always say that. Nobody gets into journalism for the money. They get into it because it's in your blood and you almost can't resist it.
Yeah.
And so eventually you said to yourself, I need to choose a path here.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get out of engineering and enter the television world?
Brad Pitt.
Okay.
Let me tell you this story, Lisa. So I was covering Toronto Living and I was on a red carpet and I was pregnant at the time. I was 8 months pregnant and Brad Pitt comes on the carpet and he's not stopping. He comes late and then I yell, I'm cold and I'm pregnant. And he comes over and holds my hand and Angelina Jolie's pregnant at the same time. And it was just about, I'm like, this is it. This is my career. This is what I want to do. I want to hold Brad Pitt's hand forever. Like, this is it.
Sangita translated that volunteer gig on community television into a paid one at the Weather Network. Next, she went to City TV, and then, of course, Entertainment Tonight Canada. A few years later, Sangita got the call from a U.S. network to host a reality TV show. Tell me about Love in Translation.
So can you fall in love without the use of language? So we have 3 guys from the US and 12 women from around the world who don't speak English as their first language. And we try to see if they can actually communicate with using the other senses. So I put them through all these different chemical tests, I would say, or just these little things that they have to do where they do eye gazing for 3 minutes. Can you fall in love with that? Touching. There's a moment of pheromones where I make the guys sweat a little bit and see if the girls can actually enjoy the smell of these men.
So we add matchmaker to the list of your accomplishments. Engineer, broadcaster, matchmaker. I love it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But there you are. You're building this audience, and everything shifts that moment as a follower of you on Instagram when you're sitting in your car and all of a sudden you reveal you've got this doctor's appointment. Tell me about that. First of all, before the appointment, what was it that made you think something's not right here?
So I think it was January, February, March. I noticed there was a little lump on my throat, and it just kind of kept growing and growing. And it was the audience who noticed this lump. And I got all these messages like, you need to go to the doctors. You need to check out what's happening. What is that? What's going on with your neck?
Thyroid nodules are small, what you can call them, little masses in your thyroid. They're actually very, very common. About 50% of people have thyroid nodules.
This is Dr. Jessie Pasternak, an endocrine surgeon specializing in the surgical management of thyroid, parathyroid, and adrenal tumors. Thyroid nodules are solid or lumps filled with fluid that form within your thyroid.
So, I can't go to a large dinner without someone saying, oh, they found a thyroid nodule last week,
Wow, really nice dinner conversation, right? But, occupational hazard.
Exactly. But I think, people always wonder, oh, I had a thyroid nodule found. What should I do? And I think it's really important that people realize, not all thyroid nodules that are found need to be investigated.
That wasn't the case for Sangita.
The general idea about thyroid cancer is that there's really kind of 2 to 3 main types. The main type that most people that have thyroid cancer have is something called well-differentiated thyroid cancer, predominantly a low-risk type of thyroid cancer. But there are certain subtypes of this that make it more concerning or less concerning.
And he explained the ultrasound. He looked at it and he goes, I think we should take this out. We just need to get rid of it. And I was worried about my voice. I go, is this going to affect my vocal cords?
The thyroid is a gland that looks a bit like a butterfly in the front of the neck. It produces hormones that regulate blood pressure, temperature, heart rate, and metabolism.
It's like your second brain in your body. And so now, I love fitness. So here I am thinking I'm working at my metabolism. Now I'm taking something out that's going to affect my metabolism. Like, how does this all work? And when I talk to other doctors, I had a conversation. They're like, oh, you just have to take a pill. You'll be fine. Really? I'm going through, menopause. I'm going to go through all that. Is it really that easy? They're like, yeah, it's pretty easy. I'm like, I haven't heard that story before, right? So that's my
But you want to cling to, you want to cling if somebody's going to tell you it's nothing, don't worry. So here's Sangita facing cancer, surgery, worried about her voice, her hormones, her career, and then more bad news. ET Canada gets canceled. Sangita's dream job for 10 years is gone. If we can just pause and think about that.
Yeah.
So your career, the job you love disappears. So already you're going through these mental gymnastics on how to get through that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, you've got this lump that one of Canada's top doctors is telling you, you got to come in for a surgery.
Yeah.
Must have been really tough to process that.
Yeah. I think I didn't process it. I think I was just there.
Going through the motions.
Yeah. I don't think I even let myself feel what I should be feeling or letting myself even go there, because I knew the surgery was going to come up, and I'm like, I need to stay as strong as I can. So I'm dealing with it now. I'm in that dark place now. And it took me 6 months, I guess, to get to that point of finally realizing what I went through and what I'm about to go through. So, at the time I just knew I had to get through it.
So much to process and learn. Dr. Pasternak was recommending something called a thyroidectomy, the removal or excision of one side of Sangita's thyroid. Until recently, and still in a lot of places, it's a type of procedure that leaves not only a very visible horizontal scar along the neckline, but can also leave a mark on your self-esteem. For a TV host, it's a particular challenge. But then, after months of obstacles, Sangita caught some good luck. Dr. Pasternak treats the country's most rare and complex thyroid cancer cases. He's the only surgeon in Canada who practices a new type of thyroidectomy, a minimally invasive method with a big long name, the transoral endoscopic thyroidectomy vestibular approach, TOTIVA.
TOTIVA is the removal of the thyroid without the scars that are involved in a traditional thyroidectomy operation, specifically when we go through the lip, the back of the lip, and tunnel into the thyroid area and take the thyroid out that way.
And you take a camera down there and you can see exactly what through the lip. It's just incredible, really. Dr. Pasternak traveled to Thailand to learn the fine art of TOTIVA, a procedure born of cultural necessity.
I think Thailand is a good representation of the social impacts of thyroid cancer surgery. A scar in the neck, especially in the East Asian cultures, it's actually quite detrimental to people's life, specifically for romantic aspects as well as for job prospects. And that's why, the East Asian and Southeast Asian communities in surgery have been very forward-thinking in these kinds of treatments. I think we're a little bit behind in North America, but to that end, like Toronto, where I work, it's a huge multicultural place, and I think this is really one of the reasons why I brought this to Canada, which is, we have a lot of patients that are from communities where, it's a really big problem to have a scar on your neck. Obviously, not all patients can get this operation. Many patients, especially with big thyroids or thyroid cancers that have spread to lymph nodes or concerning thyroid cancers or other types of thyroid disease, can't get this operation.
Tell me then, what made Sangita a good candidate for this treatment?
She had a relatively small thyroid nodule, and she didn't have a big thyroid overall, and the location of the tumor. There's a few different factors that we use.
I finally found a video, and then I watched the video and I was going to throw up. But like the idea that they put 3 rods into your chin, into your thyroid, and take it all out through your chin and out. Oh my goodness. But I'm like, that's better than a scar. Like the vanity part of it. I was like, that's better than a scar.
It's ingenious.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the engineer part of your brain was like,
so
okay, I can work
fascinated.
with this.
Yeah. So it was so great. So I'm like, okay.
Dr. Pasternak also reassured Sangita that her voice would stay the same.
And he goes, I've done this surgery for people who are singers and artists, and you should be in good shape. Because I started doing research on it too. And, the traditional way, a lot of people do have effects on their vocal cords. And that made me really nervous.
Singers are the hardest because at least for singers, their range of voice is so important. And so those are very stressful. But I think if you do a lot of them, you're comfortable with the operation and you have good outcomes.
The day of the surgery, the procedure was scheduled for 2 hours. 2 hours came and went. Finally, after 4 hours, Sangita emerged from the operating room.
when I came out of it, this is just a funny story. I've never seen Pasternak without his mask. And apparently I was hitting on him because he's such a good looking man. And my husband's standing right there. And my sisters were there and they're like, she's back. So
Oh, that's brilliant. Again, it feels like there's this new Brad Pitt moment. It's following you.
Pasternak's my new Brad Pitt.
And I actually just had a hilarious flashback when I was talking to Sangita, and she said right after the surgery, you walk in and she's dopey from whatever. And she goes, you're something like, you're hot or something like that.
I don't remember that. No, I don't.
Do you remember that?
So then, I took a little video of me. I took a photo of myself. I took a selfie. I'm like, I'm going to take a moment of what's just happened. And I shared my story on social media with a lot of not wanting to do it. But then I told myself, I built this page where I communicate things that are important to me to make it authentic. So I went back, cleaned out my social media page and said, someone said to me, what's your voice? And I go, joy. Joy's my voice. And that's what I want to show. And the response has been incredible. The fact that women are now asking about this type of surgery, they had no fear to be on my page to talk about what they were going through. They were giving me their suggestions. They're talking about their kids. They're saying, one woman I remember saying her daughter's 30, she found a lump. And I said, go to the doctors. It was just beautiful. And it uplifted me after the surgery to be able to go back and read all these comments and the DMs. And so that's the power of social media.
So would you say then, given all the love and support, that really does help you through the dark moments?
It does. It does. I think it was not even that. I think the feeling of helping that one person fuels me. I'm that person who lives off of helping other people. There's something about it energizes me.
Well, that's the empathy chip.
Is it?
Totally,
Is it?
100%. Yeah.
It fuels me. So for me to see that people were sharing their stories, it was like, yeah, this matters. This actually does make a difference. And so it's a safe haven for me.
But your story got even darker, actually. So they remove the lump, and tell me what happens next.
So this is where the science comes in because this is the hard part. So you get a report before you talk to your doctor.
Like a pathology report or what?
Yeah, the results, the pathology report. And it said encapsulated angioinvasive oncocytic carcinoma. From those words, all I saw was carcinoma.
Sangita read the report with her husband, Sam.
And Sam is sitting there with his laptop at the table. I'm behind him, and all I could see is the back of his head. And he was quiet. My husband's very calm. He's a very calm, he thinks about everything. And he did this movement where he put his hand behind his head and he leaned back. And I just kind of went, okay, it's something. It's something. And then he goes, let's go for a walk. And he just held my hand and we kind of walked with our dog, and he was there. And there was this calmness that came over me. And I'm like, I think it's going to be fine. Like everything's, and there's not a lot of research on the type of oncocytic carcinoma out there. And so what he was reading was just the research papers. And there's very common type of cancer, the thyroid cancers. That's the ones I read up on. I didn't read up on this one.
And you're learning, okay, my journey's not over. In fact, it may just be starting.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Like I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. I thought I've done my part. I'm healing. Life is good. I've done what I had to do. I took my needles. I'm nervous and scared because I've had trigger points. When I went to go do the scan, I was panicking. I was actually having a lot of anxiety getting the CT scan done. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? What is happening right now? Why can't I just get this done? And it's because I haven't dealt with it.
The CT scan the first time or for the second?
The second time.
In a state of denial and a string of other emotions, Sangita and her family decided to get away. They booked a trip to Barbados, but the break turned into a breakdown.
And I've never had a breakdown in my 45 years. And I don't even know what happened. Something my daughter said. And we were at dinner. And I went back to our hotel room and I had the ugly cry. I don't remember the last time I ever had an ugly cry like that. And my husband was there, and I'm thinking about death, and I'm thinking about everything, like just things I would never think about. I finally said, "Holy shit, I could die." Like I'm actually thinking about this now. I'm gonna be fine, but in my head, it's like, what can be? Something could happen. There could be a complication. I don't know. And so I went to that place.
I wonder if it's because you're in this idyllic place with your beautiful children and your beautiful husband, and life felt so good, and there's this fear that it's slipping away.
Yeah, like everything was so perfect.
Also healthy is the ability and the need to cry. Yeah. And other people I've spoken to who've been on this dark path say if it's only when you've had that deep, ugly cry that then there's only one way to go. Did that happen for you?
Yeah. So I'm now letting myself feel.
What does it feel like?
It's shitty.
I love your honesty. That's helpful. Honesty. As Sangita became more honest with how she felt about her situation, it forced her to become more honest with her family.
It's been interesting because I protect them from all of it. But there's a lot of honesty now with my kids and saying, do you have any questions about what's about to happen, right? And I think when I did put it on social media, their friends were like, is your mom going to die? Like, what's... I was like, I'm like, shit, I forgot about that part of it. Oops, my kids, her friends are going to be talking about it. First of all, why are friends following me? But that this time around, I was going to do it right.
And have you asked Sam recently how he's doing, how he's feeling?
So, no. The day of the breakdown in Barbados, he told me how he was coping with it. And I didn't check in with him because I'm always like, you're always fine, you're always good. And he said the day I found out, I was in the garage and I had my cry. And he's not a crier. So for him to say that to me, he was thinking about it too, because he's in medicine. Like he doesn't cry. He knows what the facts are, right? So for him to say that was difficult. That was very hard. But recently I've not. And you know what? That's probably what I should do when I get home today and say, how are you?
Sangita had her second surgery to remove the second half of her thyroid. The procedure, Totiva, went well, but Sangita's doctor, Dr. Pasternak, wanted to be careful.
In some small subsets of well-differentiated thyroid cancer, those patients have a higher risk of recurrence, meaning that the risk over the course of somebody's lifetime of it coming back either in the lymph nodes or the lungs or somewhere else in the bones is a bit higher based on the data that we have. And so in those patients, we will treat with this adjuvant therapy, which is essentially a Trojan horse therapy. It's called radioactive iodine. And radioactive iodine is a pill. It's an iodine pill that you take that has, instead of the regular iodine that we eat in our iodized salt, it's got a radioactive particle attached to it. So interestingly, only thyroid cells in the body use iodine. And so the iodine only goes to the thyroid cells. And then it basically explodes once it gets to those thyroid cells and kills the thyroid cell with it.
Is life back to normal then for her because of this revolutionary treatment?
I love that you asked that question because, I don't know if she said this or not, but she decided to tell me the morning of surgery that she was basically the MC of some 1,000-person event 10 days after the procedure. And
no pressure.
And no pressure. And in fact, she did the event and she said it went well. They raised multiple millions of dollars for their charity. So I'm glad that she was able to do that because a lot of people were going to benefit from that.
Sangita continues to share her journey and what she's learned about thyroid cancer with her over 300,000 social media followers. Now she looks forward to the next chapter in her life. What have you learned about yourself through this process?
That I'm allowed to be weak.
That's a pretty powerful lesson.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
someone like you to actually allow yourself to be weak. What does weakness look like?
Vulnerability. That's what it is.
You allow yourself to be weak. Now, how do you maintain a comfortable level of vulnerability and yet wrap yourself in armor?
I don't know the answer to that yet. I don't know.
You think about the professional things, though, because you will get through this and you will move on with your next, whatever that is. Tell me a little bit about your professional plan, your plan for the future. What's next for you?
So in 5 years, I'm going to be a billionaire and have my own company. And I'm going to be the next Gwyneth Paltrow in Canada. And I'm going to start a line of vagina candles.
I was just going to say, do not go there. That is a bridge too far, my darling.
And so I'm going to hit the international market. I'm going to hit American market. And that's always been part of my plan. So building my brand is what my goal is for the next few years. And I take it step by step. There's one thing I do is I definitely stay on my own journey. I don't look to the left. I don't look to the right. I stay on my journey. And it's gotten me from engineering to this position. And I don't even know how I got here, but it's partly because I stayed on my journey. And that's my next step, is to actually explode internationally, to be in that space, knowing there's a whole world out there.
And we have the best news to share. Since we spoke and since she had radioactive iodine therapy, Sangita, who will always be monitored, is now cancer-free. She announced it where else? On Instagram. You've been listening to Carry the Fire from the Princess Margaret, a world-leading cancer research center. If you found this episode meaningful, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. To learn more, check the show notes and share this podcast with friends and family to help spread the hope for a brighter future. I'm Lisa Laflamme. Thank you for listening.